Amazing. Hi, my name is Becky Bodurtha. I'm the senior lecturer in costume design at Stanford TAPS. I went to a very small school in rural Iowa called Waldorf College. I studied theater in undergrad, and the reason I went there is I wanted to try a bunch of different things. I wanted to explore all aspects of theater, not just acting. I was an actor and a costume designer in undergrad, and I designed almost as many productions as I was in. So I had a really exciting choice as I was leaving school what to pursue, and I went to one professional audition, and that was enough for me, and ended up pursuing costume design instead. For graduate school, I attended the University of Iowa and studied theater design with a concentration in costume design and also in fine art. In my fine art studies, I studied mold making as well. So mold making is a technique of taking an object and casting it so that you can reproduce it. I actually got really into casting like faces and heads and hands and like casting the human as a tool in order to make costumes. I practiced and learned how to cast the head so I could make makeup prosthetics, so I can make masks. How do you make those details work? How do you take care of the person that's in the mold? And I've used those skills more times than I can count as I'm creating costumes for production. So a week before I graduated from graduate school, I met a playwright from New York at a portfolio review that my professor made me go to. And we talked about my work, and he took a look at all of my sketches and all of my research and asked me about the productions I'd worked on. Afterwards, he asked me, "What are you planning to do?" And I said, well, I guess I'll move to New York. And which is what you say when you're talking to somebody from New York. And my plans were to move to Minneapolis. I'll be honest about that. But he called me 3 days later and offered me a job to run a costume shop in New York City. And so I said yes, and I went to New York. And from there, I made lots of connections designing productions and worked in universities and off-Broadway, off-Broadway, and Broadway. I love new work, and that's one of the hallmarks of my work is that I try to pursue new stories and new plays. I mean, there's so many things that get me going. I love a good solid period detail. I once found this piece of research where it was like this corset that you could tie on yourself. And it was from 1835, and I was so jazzed about it that I had to put it in a play. So I guess research would be really something that gets me super jazzed. But I also love exploring new techniques and new ideas of how to make theater and how to make costumes. How do we incorporate laser cutting or 3D printing, which I think is really fun, and why not try it? So new techniques are really exciting, but also how can we use that to create really exciting stories? So yeah, I get jazzed about storytelling, like full stop. How do we tell stories through clothes? It's really important that we understand that design is a part of our everyday life. Theater is a snapshot of our lives. It is telling stories. It is telling different parts of the human experience, and design is a visual or oral aspect of the human experience when it comes to theater. So I think that everybody should study design because it's a part of what we do every single day. We put on a costume every single day when we walk out the door. There's so many different ways that we qualify ourselves, and we dress ourselves that way every day. And so why not study why we do that and dig deeper into understanding who we are as people. The main reasons I got into costume design is because I could tell stories without having to memorize lines.